Hey, g'day guys. Guess what? We are going to do the Sunshine crossbody bag. And you want to know the best bit? It's free. Isn't that awesome? It's a gorgeous bag. And it is by Bagstock Designs. Totally free. You should go check it out. And so we're going to do that today. And for that, we are going to need our main fabric, which you need a fat quarter. So you'll need a fat quarter for your main fabric. And this is my front and back interior piece. And then with that, you will also need a fat quarter of contrasting fabric. So I decided to go with vinyl, and I've already cut my pieces out. So I've got my front, and then I've got my back also. And then for your lining fabric, you need about a half a yard of quilter's cotton or you know, anything sort of along those lines. And you need some interfacing as well. Now, there was two types, woven and then just light interfacing. I used both. So on this one, I just done the iron-on light birch interfacing. And then on this piece, I actually done the woven one, because I just wanted to see what the difference it did to the pieces. And to be honest, not really much. So anyway, that is our pocket. Let me think, on the inside, I think that is our inside pocket. This is our lining for our outside pocket. This is our lining for inside. You need two pieces of that, and two pieces of your other pocket as well. So there's two pieces here. That's for the pocket on the inside, and this one is for the pocket that's on the outside of your bag, and it is actually cut on the fold. So you put your pattern piece up against the fold and cut it on a fold, and then when we make it, we just bring it back up like this inside the bag. And then also I got some let me think, birch, not in Novus, hang on a minute, it's birch Veline heavy, and I'm going to use that in my bag as well, just for a bit of extra stabilizer, just to help with shape. You can use foam, the double-sided foam that I normally use, but I didn't particularly want to do it with this bag. I will make one again another time and use the foam, but for this time I really didn't want to use the foam. I do have a lighter fusible foam, and it's really thin, and that it does help it hold its shape, but I really just didn't want to use any of that stuff. I wanted to just do it, you know, like you would a normal sort of bag made out of vinyl or leather. So it's my first time having a go at one of these, so it is. So I hope you guys have a bit of a crack at me along the way. And you're also going to need a bit of your main fabric for your zipper tab, and another two pieces for if you are deciding to make it a crossbody or an over-the-shoulder bag, and you want your little D-hooks on the side. So these are your strap tabs. You need two of those, and I just went ahead and folded them in half like that to get my center crease, and then opened them out and just brought each side back in again. Let me see if you can see it on this one, until they touched, and then I just top stitched them 1/8 of an inch, top stitched them down on both of them. And on top of that, you're going to need, if you do decide you want a strap, you're going to need either a very long piece of vinyl, if that's what you want to make your strap out of, a very long piece of that, or if you decide to use cotton, you're going to need to cut two pieces and join it. Where's my join? There it is. And you can't even really see it there. Sitting nice and flat. It's not really bumpy or standouty or anything like that. It's looking absolutely lovely. And what I did is I put interfacing on that, as well as all the other pieces I interfaced, except for this piece. But I put interfacing on all my pieces. It does say in the pattern to do that. So all the pieces already have their interfacing on. Stabilizer. And for your strap, you'll just take your piece of material like this that has your interfacing on it, and you'll just fold it in half. Hang on, I'll move this out of the way. So we just get it and fold it in half. Just give it a finger press all the way along it. And it is going to be a really long piece of material. Open it back out and then just bring your sides in like so. And then bring your other side into the middle. And then you just fold it in again. And then I just stick a couple of clips on. To hold it, and then I take it to the machine and top stitch it down 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So that's come up lovely. So while we are on the subject of the strap, oh no, sorry, jumping ahead of myself again. Slow down, woman, slow down. Where did I put the zippers? Bear with me one sec, guys. I had them here a second ago. They fell into my tub. That's why I couldn't find them. They fell off the back of my end of my table into my tub. So you're also going to need 3 pieces of zipper or pre-made zippers, zipper tape, however you want to do it. I use zippers by the meter or zippers by the yard. I sell this. We'll be selling it in my shop. I'm just waiting. I'm in talks with my supplier at the moment. I'm putting in a big order, and I'm just waiting for all that to get finalized. So you are going to need now let me think, 11-inch or longer, an 8-inch or longer, and a 7-inch or longer pieces of zipper tape or pre-made zippers. And to go with that, you're also going to need some zip pulls. Now, I had this funky spider. Let me see if we can see that. I think it's really cool, but it's silver, and I'm using a dark multicolored teeth, and the rest of my hardware is the multicolored hardware. So I'm like, okay then. So there's that one, and then I've got these ones, and I don't know if we're going to be able to show it so you can read it. There we go. It says bugger, and they'll be in my shop too. So I've got those two, and I've also got this multicolored planer tab. So I'm thinking quite possibly I'll have these two on the outside, and then this one in the middle, in the inside interior, because I don't know if I really want to break away and put this fella on. And then the rest of our hardware is 2 D-rings, 2 lobster clasps, and these are all 3/4 of an inch. And then there's the slider, and I had the same issue here. I didn't realise until too late tonight that I didn't have a multicoloured slider. So I've only got the gunmetal black. But I'm like, well, okay, it's a black strap, so maybe I can get away with it to a point where it will blend, and therefore nobody will really pick up that it's not the same colour as the rest of the hardware. That's what I'm hoping. Anyway, And then another little tool in my arsenal is double-sided tape. Love it. Absolutely love it for use on buy any bags. And a friend of mine I know uses it when she is sewing vinyl, when she's top stitching vinyl, because she was the one who put me onto this. So given that this is my first bag that I'm doing, pretty much, you know, vinyl and material, not in the double-sided foam and the cotton, and then you quilt your cotton onto it and things like that. This will be the first sort of bag that I ever make. So here's hoping I don't make too many mistakes on it. So yeah, I thought I'd better have this one in my arsenal. Now this one is a 1/4 inch, so it's not too big. I would have liked a smaller one, but I can't seem to find any. So this one's been doing all right. And I'm pretty sure that is it. I'm pretty sure I mentioned the other stabilizer. Yeah, I did. Alrighty. So since I have the bag and everything there already, we might go on and just finish that, because then that is out of the way entirely and we don't have to worry about it. So we'll flip you over this way a bit more. I'll move these fellas out of the way. And we need these two fellas. So what we're going to do is take our zipper, our strap tabs. I'll stop having a mental blank in a minute. And wrong side down, so the part with the join on it, down, and pop it through. These are all 1/4 inch hardware too, guys, just so you know. And then I'm going to take it to the machine and politely sew it down here. And the same for this fella. We'll stick him through, and we will sew him too. Now, I'm going to do myself a favour and stick a clip on, just on the end, just like so. Purely because, since I'm going to be at the machine, I like to keep up a bit of a rhythm. So, how about we do our strap next? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look and see what part of this I like the best. Whether it's this top bit, or whether this bit has given me... no, it hasn't. So, yep, the first bit's going to be the winner. This one I've sort of... See, I've only got a little bit of Spider-Man there. Not much of him there. And he's all cut off there. Whereas on this side I've got a lot more of him. So I'm going to have that as up. So what we want to do is take our slider and thread it up and over. And then we're going to go and sew that down also on our machine. Here are the two strap tabs done. Nicely sewn down. And I done the slider as well. And what I done on there is I just folded the end up, and this is where the slider is up here. So that's how I did it. And that will give you that look. Now we are going to take one of our swivel hooks, And make sure you have your strap. Let me just move yours over a bit. The top up, so not the underside of your strap, but the top up. Follow it all the way along to the end. And then take your clip and put it on so the hook is up. And slide that up. And then we want to make sure your strap stays up. You don't twist it. Take the end with our slider and put it back through. I was going to say, gee, I twisted mine when I just told you guys not to, but I didn't, so it's all good. So it will look like that. And then follow your end down again for your other swivel hook. Make sure it is up. Pop your strap through. Fold your end over. Bring your hook down more. And then just fold it over like that. And then I'm going to go to the machine and I'll start stitching where I've made my previous stitches in the 1/8, and I'll just stitch a box just there to stitch all that down. So the strap's completely done. It's both our hooks. This is a slider. So that's ready now to set aside until we need it when the bag is finished. Now what I'm going to do is take the biggest half of my back panel and my zipper, since most people hate doing zippers. I used to dislike it very, very, very much until I started making the buy any bags. And now, because there's zippers galore in those, they are dead easy. They really are, everyone. Like, you'll be amazed if this is your first time at how easy it is when you actually know how to do it. It's dead simple putting one in. So all you need to do is, what am I doing? Silly woman, silly woman. Ignore what you just seen me do then. That is, yeah, I don't even know what I was thinking. So, material right side up, zipper right side down. So, essentially, right sides meeting. Same as when you're sewing your fabric together, you always have the same sides facing each other. And you can, you know, fold your zipper in half and find the center point, mark it with a pen, fold your piece in half and mark it. But, like, really, it's not that big. To me, I just pretty much eyeballing it, seeing that I've got roughly the same distance off each end, because my zipper is quite a bit bigger than my fabric piece. You know, there's at least half an inch or so off each side, so I just make sure I've got about the same off each side, and I'll be right. And we're just going to take it to the machine and stitch it down, and I would say just stitch as close to the teeth as you can get. So whatever your machine is going to permit you to do that. And now you can pin it or clip it to stop it from moving. So I just stick a couple of clips on. Make sure your clips are flat side down. And we're sweet to go. Alright, be back in a minute. So that's done. And then what we want to do is fold our piece in half, mark the center on our pocket piece. So I just folded it in half, and where the crease was, then I put a little pen mark. And then also on the other top piece of the bag, on the longer side of the two, so the bottom part, just fold it in half and put a mark. So then what we're going to do is line it up on our bag. Oh, hang on, I've got to get my charger. Well, that was a lucky save. Alrighty. So just grab our piece, put right side down, get our mark, find our mark on our back, and line them up. Like so. And then we'll take that to the machine after we clip it. I don't know what time it is. I think my son might be home from work. Gonna have to go check. We'll be right back. Okay, well that saved you guys having to listen to the racket, because my little guys would have went off to say hello. They get very excited. They like to say hello, and they bark until you give them attention. Alright, there's a few clips on there, and we'll go and just pretty much, you can sew it from this side and just re-sew on that line that you stitched before. So we've finished that, and then what we want to do is take it to the machine and just set the seam, and then put wrong sides together and press that with the iron. Just put a bit of heat on it to make it sit down. Sits down pretty well on its own anyway, without ironing it, but yeah, just give it a bit of a press. And then we're going to go back to our machine and so put a top stitch in 1/8 of an inch down if we can. So if you're able to set your foot so you can do 1/8 of an inch right along the top, that would be good. And I think I also forgot to mention I'm using a number 5 zipper, and it's a nylon zipper also. Alrighty. Okay, so that's done. And now what you want to do is grab the bottom piece of your pocket, bring it up to the top piece of your zipper. Line it up, Now, if you were able to mark your zipper tape, line up your center mark with the mark on your tape. I couldn't because mine's black tape. So I'm just going to lay it down and check. Bring his in a bit. And just check that my sides are even along here. So my lining is even on both sides. Alright. And then just a few clips. And you just want to do a little, about 1/8 of an inch stitch, because you don't want to fully go right down yet, because we're only just holding it in place for the next top panel for this piece here. So we'll do that. Okay, so that's done. And the little guys are deciding that they're going to play right outside the door. So now, oi, what are you doing? Cut it out. Take your top panel and we're going to lay it right side down on top there of the zipper, and you want to match it up your centerpiece with the back centerpiece. And there we have it. And then take that to the machine and stitch the same seam allowance that you stitched the first time. So if it was a 1/4, if you're using a thinner zip and you stitched a 1/4, go back and stitch a 1/4 on this one. Or if you're using a number 5 bigger zip and you've done the 3/8 seam allowance, then do that again. So we'll go and stitch that. So that's fully sewn down. And then just take it to the machine and give it a press up. And then we're going to go and do our 1/8 seam again on here to top stitch that down. Okay, so that's done. So I just stitched down. And now it's time to pretty much close up the sides of the pocket. So baste it together. Don't mind that. Oh, a little hint. I wanted to let people know, and I forgot. With your zipper tape. Now, some people don't like it. One, because it's hard to put, excuse me, zipper pulls on. And two, because it might frays when you cut it. So, here's my solution for both issues. Hang on 1 second. Just cleared my throat. So when you cut it, when you cut it, make sure, hang on, let me get another piece. Here we go. I haven't done these two. But can you see that there? So just get a lighter and run it along and seal your edges. It just melts them down. Don't hold it in one spot too long because it will burn right through your tape. But I just go along like that, and then I just hit it with the edge of the lighter, and it just flattens down if there happens to be like a bubble of the nylon tape. And that will seal it. No more frays. So that's your whole problem with the zipper tape fraying. And the second issue is that people have is putting on a zipper pull. Now, it is super, super, super easy, peoples. And this is what we do. Now you take it. Now you can have it either on here or not on here. It's entirely up to you. But I prefer to put my zipper pulls on near the end. Like I like to sew my tape down, and I'll put the zipper pull on when I get to the point where, you know, I'm going to be sewing across my zippers and closing them off. That's when I'll put my pulls on. So that way I'm not having to deal with constantly moving a slider out of the way, so it's not putting a bubble in your zipper and you're not dealing with the slider issue. Throughout all this sewing, I haven't had to worry about a slider. I haven't had to move it or anything. So there is a method to my madness, I promise. Now, what we're going to do is open it like so. Now get an old pair of scissors, not your good sewing scissors. And what you want to do is put it in, and see that? That is 2 teeth. That is all that is. Put it in between the grooves. So I just go 2 teeth. So it's in between the grooves, and snip it off. Gone. Now you can see one side is slightly shorter than the other. Grab that, put it in my bin, and then you grab your zipper tape. Now you want it, you got your curvy part of your, not your zipper tape, your zipper pull. Curvy part of your pull and the flat butt of your pull. Well, I always put them on from right to left. That's just how I do it. So you need to put the curvy part on. I find they go on easier too this way. Now let me see if I can wrangle this so you guys can see what I'm doing here. So you put in, and I need to be able to see. You put your long end in first, only a little way. You see that? It is only in there a little tiny way. Move that pulley part out of the way so it's not in your way, and put your finger at the end and have this other finger here bracing it, right? So you're holding it with these 2 fingers now. Bring this part here up and slot it in. You see? Now sometimes you're lucky enough to do it, there we go, when you're still holding it. Other times you've actually got to lay it down. Keep your finger there so it doesn't fall off. Lay it on a flat surface. Put your fingers either side of the tape of this hand, on this hand, and sort of pull while you're putting pressure there, and just pop with this finger, and it will just pop straight on. So we just did that. There you go. How easy is that? On. No problem. Alright, so now that that's on, big lesson there, sorry about that, but it frustrates me when I hear people having issues with zipper pulls, and I get so frustrated. It's like, oh, it's so easy, if only someone could, you know, show you how. I have done a video on it on my channel, but, you know, not everyone's seeing that, so I get very frustrated, because once you do it this way, I've had people do it this way and comment that it is now as easy as pie for them. So you don't need forks, you don't need all these other gizmos, you just need to clip off 2 of the teeth on an angle and put it on. But you always put on the side of the tape, so if you clip the teeth off, this is a good point, I only just thought of it. If you clip the teeth off this bottom part of your tape, that is the part you put in last. So you'll put this part in first and then this part. If you clip the teeth off this part, which I always do, I clip it off the top part of the tape, what I call the top part of the tape. if you clip the teeth off there, then this side goes in first, the bottom side. And like, you're only putting it in 1 or 2 teeth. That's it. It's not going in very far, the tape. Easy peasy. Alright. So, let's move on, Kylie. Stop rambling about zipper pulls. Now it's time. We just got to zip down our sides. So we want to sew the sides of our pocket down and close that. So you just want to sew down all of this till you get to the end of your pocket and stop, and then do the same on this side. So take it from here and then just sew down until you get to the end of your pocket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew from this side, I think. Yep. Yeah, sew for this side and just sew it down. Alright, we'll be right back. Okay, so that's done. Oh, knocking you guys around. Totally sewn down. Now, I sewed it from this side because I just ran my foot along the edge of the fabric as my guide on this angle, just until I reached the bottom of the pocket and stopped. Now it is time to take off our excess here. Just got to find where I put my ruler. I'll be glad when we move. As soon as we find a place, I'm going to be busy. The videos are probably going to be a bit of a sporadic thing, guys, because we have to get a new house. So the owners need to do a lot of work to this place, and I mean a lot of work. It's just atrocious, it really is. So yeah, they need to do a lot of work, and so we're going to move out. So while I'm looking for a house and everything else, packing and all that, I'm not going to be able to spend as much time making videos, so they're going to be a bit erratic, unfortunately. Okay, so get our rotary cutter and ruler. Make sure our pull is out of the way. Put it down, and we just want to cut to the side. Right, stick that in my cup so I know where it's at. Okay, so now what we're going to do is put on our vinyl or our accent side pieces. So if you want to, you can just quickly grab your pattern and measure that it's the right same size as the back piece, as the front piece, sorry. No, back piece. Yeah. But yeah, it should be if you've done everything right. And what we want to do is get a pen, and we want to measure 3/8 in on each side. Bring it down closer to where I can see it better. On that and on these. Already did that one, and I've already did that one. I'll do the same on this panel. Alright. Oh, let me check my other ones. Yep, done them too. Okay. I'll grab my little bag of clips. Yep. Why did I do it on the back of that for? Sometimes I swear I don't think. When I'm sewing, just sewing, I'm fine. But when I'm recording, I make every silly mistake humanly possible. But that's alright, because it gives you guys something to look out for. So grab one piece. Okay, that's this one. And what we want to do is line it up. Line up those two marks. Just where they meet. That's it. Right there. And then clip it in place. And the same with the other side. Just so you can see that. So line it up with your edge. And then just move it up until that mark kisses that mark. And that's him. And then clip. And repeat for the other side. And then we are going to go and sew them down. Alrighty, so we've got both of them done. Oh, better zoom you back out. There's the second one. And you want to do them, you seam at 3/8 of an inch. Seams on these. So now that that's done, I don't know if you guys can hear, but can you hear? Just listen for a second. And now he's not going to do it. My little man's in here asleep under my desk here, and he's snoring. And what we want to do is open them out and top stitch them down. But we want to keep our seams going the same way on both sides. So if you look at this one, because of the zipper, I forgot to mention too, when you sew them down, make sure you move your slider over so you're not going to go hitting your slider. So on the front piece, because of the zipper, it's quite happy to stay with the seams going this way, not tucking under itself. There he goes. Did you hear that? He's under snoring. So yeah, it's happy to stay there and not tuck under here. So we'll want to press them down, making them stay all the same way. Where it's just the cotton material, it's quite happy to turn under. But we want to keep them all the same way. So go along and finger press them down. Same with this one. Just like that. be so happy when I get my other table and I can actually move right around it instead of having to have this one up against the wall. Makes things so awkward. But that'll be at the new house now, so I will hold off getting it until we move, because then it's less to move. And then what we want to do is take our double-sided tape. Where did I put it? There. And I'm going to run a piece of double-sided tape down this top edge and fold it over. Same on this one, and the same on these two. So I'm going to run it on the top, not on the back side, on the top. Run a piece of double-sided tape down there, fold it over, down here, fold it over. Then I'm going to take it to the machine and do a top stitch down here at 1/8 of an inch. So change your settings again, back to 1/8 and not 3/8, and top stitch that down. But it's just the vinyl wants to keep popping up. As you can see, it looks like I haven't even folded that over. You see? So instead of fighting with it the whole time, and so you get a nice neat finish, I would use some of the double-sided tape, and that way you can really push it, make it stay, and then you're not going to be fighting with it when you're sewing it. So we'll do all that, and then we'll take it to the machine. Okay guys, just sticking the tape down. I've already done this one, and it's very, very easy. Just like so. Done. Alright, I'm just going to take the, where's my, here it is over here. Take the paper off. I like using my stiletto for that. Makes picking it up and separating it much easier. Make sure I've got my clips to hand. Just when you take it to the machine to sew this one down, the one that doesn't have the zip, just be mindful that your fabric in the seam is going the right way you want it to when you sew it down, because it does want to tuck back under that way, because this here, it can't withstand the force of the vinyl because it's so much thicker, so it's quite happily wanting to bend under. And your seams won't meet on the bottom of the bag if you do sew this so it's like the seam is under this way instead of the seam being that way, because that's the way it has to be on the one with the pocket. Because of the thickness of the zipper tape, it doesn't want to fold under to under here. But if you do this one differently, it will look different when you join them on the bottom. So you want to keep your seams, like the direction in which you're having your seam bulk fold, going in the same direction. Alright, I'll take that to the machine and I'll sew 1/8 of an inch all the way down on all 4 pieces. Alrighty, so they're all sewn down. So now that both of them are done, it's time to add whatever stabilizer you decided on for the back. So if it's the foam, or if it's what's it called, the Decaville. I'm using the Valine, and it has a shiny side. If I can get it to catch. There we go. So this is the glue side, and then this side, it's just totally nothing. Oh. So I'm going to take that to the iron and iron both of those down on my bag pieces, and then we shall move on to the next step. All done now, totally ironed on. And it was very stiff before, but since heating it up, it's gotten a lot more pliable, so I have more, what's the word, I'm more confident that it, or hopeful that it's going to turn out how I'm wanting, and that's not going to be too stiff a stabilizer for it. So now it's time to put on our strap tabs, if you chose to have these, and we need to measure according to the pattern. Now there's a bit of a debate on where to put these. Some people prefer on the sides, others prefer up the top, like so, and I'm going to go one up here and then one here, and just see how that goes. One on opposite sides. So I'll get in and measure that and clip them down. So they're done, both basted on with 1/8 seam allowance. So your bags should be looking like this now, unless you decided to put them on the side or do on the same side. So there's the back and there's the front. We can now put them aside, and now we're moving on to marking our zipper placement for the inside pocket. Okay, so we need to fold it in half and find our center, and then put a bit of a mark there. I'm going to use my stiletto just to go like that and get more of a defined crease. Then we're going to lay it down. Get a ruler, put it on and mark a line 2 inches down from the top. I'm using an air erase pen. 2 inches down. So we're going to go 3/8. 1, 2, 3 down from the line we just drew. Now you can do it this way, or you can use the template that is in the pattern for this. Alright, so now we've got our 2 lines, and then we are going to do another one. Okay, I made an error there. I went 3/4 down. It's 3/8. So Yeah, don't do my boo-boo. And then we want to find that center mark. And we want to measure 3.5. 1, 2, 3. There's our center line, so that's the half. And then draw a line there. And then we can measure 7, pretty sure, just check. Yep, 7 inches. So we want to go 7 inches from this end to this end. Draw another line. I'll just make this bottom line here a bit darker. And we want to find the middle. And draw a line. So now we just need to do a V. And then we're going to turn over our lining piece. And the pattern says go 1 inch down from the top. And lay our pocket up first. Sorry, we got to find the middle. Mark that. And then find where our crease was here. There it is. Right there. We line that up. Now let me see. 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. Alrighty, so that's centered. On my cap, my pins, and we're just going to pin that down so it doesn't move. And we're going to take it to our machine and sew all around the outside of this elongated rectangle. Alrighty, so we've sewn that down. I took out the pins. Now we want to go and cut the V on each end and straight down the middle. So I'm going to use a seam ripper. You want to try and go as close as you can to those stitches without going through them. That one went a bit crooked. There we go. Now I'm going to go straight down the centre. It is absolutely pouring here. We have had, I think, a couple of weeks of rain just recently, and then we had, it was about 4 days of few showers, not a lot of rain, but very cloudy and overcast, to yesterday and today absolutely bucketing down. Alright, so what we're going to do now is go ahead and push our pocket all the way through that opening. Oh, I better pause the TV. I'm going to go ahead and try and get that as smooth as possible. Alright, now we're going to take it to the iron and give it a good iron to make it sit down and behave. Alright, there we have it. All done. Looking lovely. So what we're going to do now is take our zipper and we need to align it in there. And because we're going to go and then sew it down, I need to put my other pull on. Yeah, no, I'll use the multicoloured one. I'll stick to what I was going to do initially. So, okay, so our pocket's going to be that way, so I want it to go that way. I'm just going to open it a bit. Take my scissors. Cut off the 2 teeth. Take my slider. So that is just in there. See, it's going on more. So now it won't work. So you just got to slide it back because we didn't stabilize it with our finger. There we go. That's in. And on. And it's that easy. So we want it on the other side. Might move it in a bit more. I think I'm happy with that there, like so. Alright, I'm going to stick 2 pins in that, just so I make sure it stays put while I'm transferring it from here to the sewing machine. Alright, I'm going to take that to the machine and sew around it 1/8 of an inch around the whole lot. Alrighty, that's in. Now we need to take our other piece of our lining and lay it over the top, face down. And then get some clips. We're just going to clip it in place. I actually went around my zipper twice. Because I don't, the way I see it, and I went over the end about 4 times because I went around twice, because I always go over the end twice, which turns out to be 3 times when I sew in a zipper. And because I'd done the whole square twice again, it is really well sewn down. But the way I see it is it can not hurt it, you know. I'd prefer to have it secure in case somebody, you know, packs a lot of stuff into a little pocket, or even the bag itself. I'll do it on all my zippers. I just feel it's better, you know, a couple of rows just makes it more secure in my opinion. So that way if they happen to you know, put a heap of stuff in there and everything, it's a lot of stress on your zipper points and everything. So I just feel, yeah, twice around, it's not going to hurt it. Alright, so we have clipped that down. What we're going to do is we're going to start from here, and we're going to have it like that on our machine. So we are just stitching through these 2 pieces. So you need to keep the main lining part out of the way when you sew, so you don't catch it up. But we're just going to go and sew this pocket closed, but we are only going to do 3 sides. So up, across, and down. And what we want to do also is turn the end. So we'll just take this, and it doesn't matter which way you turn it. You can turn it that way or you can turn it this way. It doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to turn it under there. It's about 1/2 inch probably. Like so, and put a clip in it. Alright, so we're just going to go and sew those 4 sides. Alrighty, it's all done, guys. Look at that. Woohoo! Guess what? You've put 2 zippers in already. That's totally sewn up. Except you got your opening here. Alright, now set that aside. Now, this next bit I haven't really made up my mind how I'm going to show you. I do it a different way than what this pattern states. But anyway, I'll show you both. I think that's the best bit. I'll just, oh, here it is here. Looking for my pen that will show up on black. Okay, so you want to measure 1 inch down your tape. Put a mark. You can sort of see those marks there. Now, this pattern wants you to undo your zipper and then bend it at a full 90-degree angle, like that. Put the clip down, and then we'll take it to the machine and sew it down so it's at that angle. The other way that I do it is, where's my other lining piece? Right there. Right. Let's pretend we're installing this in our bag. So what I do is I mark, you know, a certain spot, and then you start sewing from that spot down and, you know, back stitch a bit, and then you come back and essentially, yeah, you are doing the same thing really, but the zipper's already sewn in instead, like when you then come back and turn it, and then you sew straight over the top of it and go off, and then you do the other side. So you do, so that's what you got to have, is your zipper tape folded like so. So where that mark is where you bend it. Now just let me see. They don't look even. That looks more even. Oh, also on your pocket, I forgot to mention you can trim your zipper if you've got, you know, a heap of zipper tape left at the end. I didn't have a great deal, so I didn't bother about it, and I forgot to mention it until just now. Okay, with your zipper tape, guys, I changed my measurement to a 1/2 inch because I did cut mine on the 10 inches and I didn't read down further in the pattern, and it says then to trim it up to 10 1/4. Well, if you put your turn point for your zipper tape at a 1/2 inch, sorry, I trimmed mine dead on 11, and if you put your turn point at the 1 inch to turn it, you can't then trim it to 10 1/4 because it's only 10. So I undid mine. I reduced it, my turn point, to a 1/2 inch. So I measured 1/2 an inch down and turned it, and then I sewed it down. And then you want to trim your tape to 10 1/4. Then it's time to put on our little stopper at the end. And what I do in the pattern, it's a fraction different. They just have you fold it in half, get your center point, fold it out, fold that in, fold that in, and then fold that up like so, and stick your zipper tape in, and then just sew across the top. Well, you got 2 raw edges here if you do that. So I'm like, okay, that's not my go-to way. I don't like to have raw edges. So I'm going to have to show you here at the ironing board what I do. And I put my zipper tape in like that, roughly in the middle. And then I fold the tape up. And I fold the tape up. And I just give it a finger press. Right? That gives me my creases. I can then set that with the iron. And I know my zipper's going to fit because I've just done it. Okay? Then I fold it in half. So I'm pretty much then doing it the way that the pattern calls for. So I'm folding it in half, folding it down, and folding these up. And then when I get the bulk out of it, have them folded evenly, sorry guys, sewing's probably not a good thing for me because everything's got to be precise. But anyway, and then I'll put it in. Okay? Just like that. And then that way, when you sew it down, you don't have any raw edges. And instead of just sewing across the top here, I will do all 3 sides. And I'll sew that down. And then that way you've got no raw edges here. Like, I know when you sew things down, it's supposed to prevent them from fraying, but let's face it, a zipper on a handbag gets a lot of wear and tear, you know, and I just feel safer to be better safe than sorry and not have a raw edge. So that is how I'll be sewing down this. So I'm going to go to my machine now and sew that down. There it is, all sewn down. And we're ready to go on. Okay guys, now we want to get our outside of our bag that has the zipper on it. Whoop, back out of it. And we want to put our zipper down, right sides together, and about 1/2 inch from each end. So that looks like about a 1/2 inch. And then we're going to go and sew that down, either 1/4 inch or 3/4 inch seam. Alrighty, so that's all done, totally sewed down. So now we want to grab our lining piece that doesn't have the zipper pocket in it and put that down right sides together. Throw a few clips in it and then take that to the machine and sew it down. I would show you sewing it down, but my machine, my foot's playing up and it's mega slow, so it like takes forever to do this. So I'll prevent you guys having to go through my pain and put it that way. Okay, be right back. Okay, once you have that done, and I forgot to mention, when sewing it, flip it to the other side, so have your lining on the bottom, and just sew back through the same stitching that you did to sew your zipper on. So now we're going to bring it right side out, and we want to fold that down. Now I'm contemplating whether I should put some tape on there to hold it. I'm going to use clips just to hold it down because there's a bit of bulk there. And you want it to sit nice. So, just wondering whether a bit of tape might help that. Okay, I'll see how it goes without. So we're gonna, just lost my clip. Sorry about that, guys. So we're just going to take it to the machine and top stitch that down 1/8 of an inch all along the top, and then that will make all that sit down beautifully. Okay, so it's all in, looking lovely. And just go slow, guys, where you got the bulk, because there's quite a bit of bulk in some of this. And also I backstitch here about 1/2 an inch on each end just to secure it a bit more. So therefore, you know, in wear and tear on your bag, hopefully it will prevent it pulling out. So that's done. So now we're going to go and repeat that with the other side. I'll move you back a bit. I'm going to lay our panel down. I'm going to do it this way, just so I can see. Actually, I'm going to move that zipper in. I want it about 1/2 inch again. So about there. And we'll clip that all down. Oh, and there I know, I'm knocking all you guys around. Sorry about that. Alright, take that to our machine and sew it again, either 1/4 or 3/4, depending on what it is for you guys, just to get as close as you can to your zipper there. Okay, so that's all done, guys. So make sure it is this way down. Whoop. There we go, I'm knocking you around again. Louise. Now we want to put our lining panel down and make sure it's right sides together and clip it. And just, I know you will be, but remember to be mindful of your zipper pulls, guys. Move them out of the way as you need to. Alright, I'll take that to the machine. Okay, all done. So remember to flip it so you've got the back part up and stitch in your previous line of stitching. So now we want to fold it out. Hang on a minute. It probably won't be as hard for you guys as what it is for me, because I think, like, this is gorgeous stabilizer, but I think it's just a fraction too stiff for this project. But in saying that, it was what I could get. So you guys probably won't have as much trouble here folding yours down as what I am. So we're just going to clip it. I'm going to open that. That way I can stick a few clips in there. I just hope I'm not going to have major issues birthing this baby. And if you aren't using a vinyl for your accent pieces, you can iron it too. So I could probably take that to the iron and give it a quick press if I wanted to, purely because of the amount of stuff between the iron and my vinyl here. But it's okay the way it is. So I'm going to go and top stitch that down now. There she is, all done. Nicely sewn down. Alrighty, so if we open out our bag, this is what your bag should look like. So what we're going to do now is take, firstly, open our zippers. And take just our outside panels. And we're going to clip them together. And what you want to do is, we'll do it like this so you can see. Join up your sides. So here and here. You want them to meet like that. Put a pin in, clip in, pin wouldn't go through that. Clip, then another clip, and the same here. I want to make sure, look at that, beautiful. Wait, doesn't help if I drop it. Okay, turn it around. I am all fumbles today. Beautiful. Alright, now we're going to take it to our machine and sew the three sides, not in here, because this is where we box it. This is how we box our bag. So you don't want to sew that there. Just want to sew down this side, across the bottom, and up that side at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And here, 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 and the same 3 points on this side. I'm going to backstitch well, because there's going to be a lot of stress on these points, and we want to make sure that they don't give on you. We can also line up and pin this to keep it out of the way. We'll do that later. So that's all done. And on your top part, when you sew up here, when you get up to here, you want to bring it right up to the edge, but not go over onto your lining. So bring it right up to the edge there, and then do your back stitch. Alright, so now we're going to pretty much do the same for the lining. So you can lay it out, clip it together. On the lining though, it's going to be a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, not a 3. But we do decrease to a 3. We decrease to a 3 when we get up near the zipper. Mine is quite stiff because of my stabilizer. I need to see if I can get that, because I couldn't find the Decaville. I need to try and find that and use that next time. But if not, if I have to just work with this Valine, next time I'll get a medium, not a heavy. Alright. I think I'm going to have fun birthing this baby. So I do. Put a clip in there. You guys shouldn't have as many issues as me, depending on what stabilizer you've used, of course. My first bag, you know, I'm not being too hard on myself because it's my first one. And the thing is, I sort of got what I could because, you know, when you don't really know much about the stabilizing side of things because you've not had to use it. Because I'm so used to sewing with the foam, you know, so I could have done the foam, but I didn't want the look that the foam gives. That's why I went with this. Alright, so we're going to sew this. And there we go. Why is that going funny there? Ah, there. Gotcha. Tricky little thing. Okay, so 5/8. Let me maneuver this so you can see it. 5/8 all the way along the bottom. 5/8 up your side, but you're going to decrease or increase depending on how you want to start. Now, if you start at the bottom, you're going to go 5/8 all the way up and decrease it to 3/8 as you get further up here. And then you want to bring your stitching to meet up with the line of stitching you stopped at before. And then do a good back stitch there. And you want to do the same on the other side. So 5/8 coming up to decrease to 3/8 on that side. Alrighty, let's get to it. Okay, so it's all done. Now, which side was it? This side here, I think it was, came together beautifully at the join. But I think it was this side. Yeah, this one. It was a little bit harder, purely because of that zipper tab there. And the handle placement as well. So that being there, that's a lot of thickness right there. Like, I don't know if you guys can actually... It's a lot of bulk. A lot of bulk. So it had a little bit of difficulty just getting up that initial bump there, but I gave it a bit of help, got it up, and it was okay. Now, the only thing is, if anyone has used a firm stabilizer in their bag, when we turn it out the right way, it's probably going to put tension on it, so you'll like see the the stitches from the outside. Like, not so much the stitches, but the stitch line type of thing. Like, you're going to see that anyway, but I don't know if you've made bags before, you might know what I mean by when you turn it and it sort of pulls the stitching a lot. So what we're going to do to help prevent that is we're going to go back to our machine, and on our outside part only, not on the lining, we're just going to do another row of stitching inside the seam allowance for 1/8 of an inch from this seam allowance here in. So we're going to sew 1/8 of an inch up here along the bottom and up this side also, and that just gives it that bit of extra strength and stability and will stop it creating that pull. All right, let's get to that. Okay, so now it's time to box our corners. Put your finger in there. It's going to take a bit on mine. And then we want to have our seams in opposites to each other, so that way it reduces a bit of the bulk. Hang on a minute. I'm going to totally open this, because with this end still being flat, because this hasn't been like that. That's it. Now to make it easier on this end. There we go. Clip that. We'll do the other end too. Alrighty, take it to our machine and do 3/8 of an inch seam on these. So the ends are all done. Done the 1/8 also. And then all that's left to do is to do your corners on your lining. And then everything should be done except for this baby. And now is going to be what? You. Oh. Yep. Right. Now to birth it. Yay. Here's going to be the fun, because this lining is far too heavy for this bag. But anyway, we'll give it a go, eh? Let me just zoom you guys out. Can't anymore. Won't go out anymore. Oh. No, that didn't work. Hang on. There we go. Try adjust it here. It's better. Try and birth this baby. It's going to be a mission, eh? It's my corner. Definitely going to get me some Decaville. Definitely. Anyway, this is me and my bright ideas for you. Should have sourced the right stuff to start with, huh? But, hey, it's all good. It's all good. The machine sewed it, no problems. Like, I'm telling you, this is some thick stuff. Let me get some of that bulk out first. Try and jam it all through that little pocket. It won't work. There's some. There we go. Now we're seeing it happen. Oh yeah. There we go. Bit of brute force in there. Not too much, we don't want to rip it. There we go, look at that. Right, let me get my hand back in there. I don't know how much this is on camera, guys, I'm sorry. Wow. Tell ya, I'm happy. Very, very, very happy. Pop that corner out. Wow, it's turned out gorgeous. All that's left to do is sew up the inside of this pocket now. And because we turned it, if you remember when we done the sides way back when, and we tucked it under that bit, so now because that bit is sewn, it is automatically, technically, it's not playing nice though, want to fold in. So I'm going to take it to the iron and just hit it with the iron a fraction to make it play nice. Hang on a minute. Okay, totally done, guys, all sewn up. So now we can pop him back in there. Do up the zipper. Look at that. Don't look great? Stoked, guys. I am stoked. It's like, wow. Let me find my strap. There it is. Put the zipper up. Let me shorten that a little bit. OMG. What do you reckon? Huh? Come on now, that's got to be like worth a few thumbs up and comments. I reckon it is. Look at that. My very first one with vinyl. Like, the only other bags I've sewn are the tutorials that you guys have seen, which is the buy any bags. That's it. End of story. Other than that, I've done quilts. A lot of applique quilts and everything. Other, you know, bits and bobs along that line, but not really bag making. So, just remember, all this hardware, everything will be in my shop, hopefully 3 weeks. But, look, I'm trying as hard as I can. I'm designing stuff and everything for over there that I want made, like, you know, different zipper pulls and stuff. But in saying that, we also must move. We have 2 months, that's it, end of story. To find a new place, do all the approval stuff, actually get approved for something, and move. I do have a quarter of the stuff packed, but in saying that, I got in and I unpacked quite a bit when I thought we didn't have to move, but they changed their minds again. So, I've got to pack, and like, trying to pack all my fabric alone, like, guys, like, all that in there is nothing. I have tubs and tubs and tubs in the hallway of fabric, so I have just a little bit of fabric, but anywho, it's not a problem. I always buy more. Okay, so thank you for joining me. I hope it wasn't too hard for you guys to follow along with me. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.